All right, everyone. The other day, something very, very funny happened. To all the Canucks watching, most of you, I think, probably have already seen this and found it hilarious. It's a microcosm of Justin Trudeau's so-called leadership in Canada. He's not really doing a good thing. He's getting less and less well-liked, and even some of the Liberals, I think, you remember when they were astroturfing him? Oh my God, it's the Canadian Obama. Wow, he's so suave, and yeah, he's like Hobbit-like and stuff. And then, of course, goes through a messy breakup and a billion other things. I can't imagine being married to Justin Trudeau would be any better than having him as your prime minister. Anyway, his plane broke down. He was in Jamaica on a taxpayer-funded lavish vacation. Apparently, the Jamaicans are like, oh, the government there, I guess, loves him for some reason, and he's everything, all the expenses paid, and they roll out the red carpet for the dude. It's like, hey, he finally found a country in which he has supporters. Too bad it's not his own country. Yeah, his plane broke down as they were going to leave, and they had to bring in a second plane, actually, in order to get the maintenance crew in and extract him and his family from Jamaica. And it's basically a microcosm of his government dysfunction. It has broken down. It's sort of similar to the U.S. government at the moment, or the government of the U.K., which somehow has managed to take the kind of problems that Trudeau has and put them on steroids. It looks like things are going to be a little bit messy there. A conservative government that refuses to be conservative gets booted to the side in favor of people who are at least honest about the fact that they're on the left side of politics. Who would have thunk? Never happened before. I'm loving it. I love stories like this. It's just so fucking hilarious. And I'm just imagining Trudeau. He's in his limo. He's on his way back, and then he gets the call out. Sorry, that we're going to be delayed a little bit because your plane is like your prime ministership. I don't know. It's not necessarily the most newsworthy thing, admittedly, but it's definitely one of the most humorous news stories in the cycle right now. And Trudeau, you'll remember him as the dude who says that if you have a truck protest, if you protest, lockdownerism or communism or something like that, you're an enemy of the state, basically. But if you burn down the local Taco Bell or the local Tim Hortons, I suppose, for wokeness, then that's okay. It's sort of like during that period of time. We shouldn't mention it too much because this video is going on YouTube, and you can only say so much about certain honk medically related topics. During that period, you remember that multiple cities, this was in the U.S. too, would say, protest is now banned. Unless you happen to be BLM, that's perfectly okay. I mean, it literally happened. We all watched it. People are, by the way, supposed to forget that period of time existed. Basically 2 years of history you're not supposed to document. Don't talk too much about what went on during that period of time because literally everything was fishy. Trudeau's government, though, was worse during that period and still is. Canada's got economic issues, although I don't think their inflation is quite as bad as in the United States, if I remember correctly. Says a silver lining, when you can go get your poutine, or however you pronounce it. I know it's sort of a local dialect related thing. When you get your gravy fries, which I totally don't understand because I just don't, what the hell. When you get your gravy fries, at the very least, you save a few cents. You come south, the Quebecois love to travel through Vermont and never speak English or tip, by the way. When they come through, they probably get sticker shock, I guess. Probably cheaper right now to rent in Montreal than it is in Rutland. It's a real sad goddamn situation, especially with the looming hike in property taxes here. Justin Trudeau, though, he had a nice vacation. I can't remember exactly what they termed it. It's basically like, getting some sun in midwinter or something like that. I think it might be a local reference. But, meanwhile, the taxpayers that actually live in Canada, they're in the great white cold dark north and suffering because of bad decisions that he and his government have made. They're also deeply anti-gun. We've seen that from Trudeau's administration. I don't know if any Canadians can tell me. I haven't kept up on polling or the politics of Canada as much as I would like to, and now that I'm back stateside, I probably should because I'm like an hour and a half away from the border of your country. I should probably keep up more on Canadian and Mexican politics too. Is Trudeau slated to fuck off sometime? When is he leaving? Because all of us in the United States are wishing you well and getting rid of him so that you can have maybe less incompetent leadership. I would say competent leadership, but based on what I see in the political spectrum in the North American continent, I think that all that we can hope for is a little less incompetence. We got the same problem in the United States. Hell, even a return of Trump, he's not perfect, and he'll just be obstructed by his own House Republicans probably for 2 years again. That'll be a shit show. And I expect that to happen, by the way. In Trudeau's case, I'm just hoping that he goes bye-bye, and you can have, there hasn't been a sane leader in Canada in a while, though. You'll get some of the real winners who have been prime minister there. By the way, why don't you just evolve fully into a republic and rip yourself out of the Commonwealth at some point? You're retaining the vestiges of monarchism. I hate to tell you this, but under that particular arrangement, if things do pop off, you're basically enchained to the UK, which again has even less competent leadership than your own country. I would probably be an anti-monarchist at this point if I were a Canadian. Hey, maybe we should join Western civilization more directly. The king is on your currency. Imagine every time you go to the store, you have to see King Charles' face. Frank Garrett's face, literally speaking. I'm sorry, but the two are inextricably linked together in my mind and always will be. I just love this. His plane breaks down, necessitating a second plane. By the way, burning a lot of fossil fuel in the process. This is not a solar-powered plane. I wonder how he justifies that, since he's also a climate hawk. Oh, we need to do more to save the environment. Everything except actually like planting trees or composting or something like that. Just pay us more money, citizens. We'll take care of it. It's almost like the globalists realize that the song is starting to near its end and they just need more money in order to keep the game afloat longer. So they're just bilking people in the name of climate change and stuff like that. And Trudeau is definitely near the forefront of that particular argument. Severe climate. I mean, he sounds like AOC, I think, on that issue more than anything else. But his plane broke down and he was briefly sad. I'm surprised he didn't say, okay, well, I'm sorry, people of Canada, but I'm going to have to take another week here in Jamaica because, I would rather them just repair it locally. It'll take some time. I'm sorry. It's a big sacrifice on my part, by the way, that I'm in the Caribbean in the middle of winter instead of up in Ottawa somewhere, instead of being in Toronto or something. Your heart should bleed for me. I'm taking one for the team. That's about all. Peace out.